Still tonight, as we speak, Democrats are willing to shut down the government to spite President Trump. Joining us now is Fox News contributor Tammy, Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. I really do appreciate all three of you being here. Now, I'm going to go first to the Attorney General. You've unfortunately been through these types of events, too. Florida's a big state like California. A blue alert has been issued. What are the men and women thinking about and going through right now as they're trying to find this killer?
Well, it's horrible, and sadly we've dealt with this so many times. And you know, if Nancy Pelosi wants to put a price tag on $5 billion on a wall, well, that to protect children, she's saying. What about that police officer's child? That's priceless. You can't put a price tag on that, Jason. We know that. We know that we have to build this wall. These families, these police officers risk their lives for us every single day. And if his life could have been prevented by that wall, then it was worth every penny of it. One drug bust, Jason, that came in, one drug bust in one day coming through the Mexican border. It was cocaine, meth, and heroin, totaling over hits or doses that could go to children. 31 million doses. I got it all broken down by DEA for me in D.C. That's almost the population of California. All those kids in our country, all those drugs could have gone to kids in our country. That's what this is about, protecting our children. That's why these borders are so important. Now, the gangs, Tammy, the human trafficking, firsthand, I know about all of this.
And Tammy, this is broader than just the wall. I know the discussion is about the wall, and the wall is important to put an impediment, something in between those that want to come north. And it is bigger and broader than just the human trafficking and bringing kids across the border with drugs and guns and all the other things that come along with that. And we don't know how this person that has been identified as by the police, we don't know how this person got here. Could have come on a visa and been a visa overstay. But there's still this need to build the wall and create an impediment, correct?
Well, there's the literalness of that, of course, Jason, but there's also the psychology of it. Is the statement to individuals like this criminal who thought he would just come over, the individuals, the Brazilian murderers who the ICE has caught in the last few weeks, who they had to send back to Brazil. So there's this message that this is the place to escape to if someone else is looking for you, or that, in fact, if America doesn't care about its border security and doesn't care about crime and what's happening inside the country, why should you? But I just have to say this is eerily similar and horrific as well as what reminded people during the campaign with President Trump, the Kate Steinle killing, of course, on the pier in San Francisco. Up until that point, that it was all this kind of discussion about the new technical, the technicalities of immigration and what we were going to have in borders and the impediments and all of that. We've moved into that kind of conversation again, where it's about these elements and where it's about the Democrats getting their votes, and if they're going to win in 2020. Suddenly, we realize that it's the American people who matter here, that the politicians are using us as effectively, or seeing us as collateral damage in this process as they fight to get what they want in Washington. This is an argument and a fight about us, about our families, about that little baby now who will never know his father, and all of the people in America who've lost a loved one, either through the drugs or through murder or through killing. This is what we've got to remember. The politicians want you to think it's about them. It is about us, and this is what the president's committed to. It's our lives and our future.
Now, Congressman, I had the pleasure and honor of serving with you in the 115th Congress, but the Democrats say they're for border security. I, for the life of me, can't figure out what they think is border security when they want to promote sanctuary cities and abolish ICE, and they aren't supporting of the wall. They call the wall immoral. I don't know what they think border security actually is. But there's a lot of other things. They suddenly want to have a hearing, and I actually think there should be an Inspector General report of the child that was in, now two children that were in the custody of Customs and Border Patrol. I do think there should be an investigation of that. But what about these killings? Do you think they're going to do some investigations of those?
Well, it is always a tragedy when a child dies, and obviously we're going to look into that. But my goodness, if you did what the left wanted, you'd get rid of the borders, abolish ICE, have every community as a sanctuary city, and then at the end of the day, you'd provide endless medical care better than the veterans are getting in my district and in my own community. I mean, and you look at the challenges that Attorney General Bondi laid out that are before our law enforcement officials. I mean, Jason, they've already got to fight against American murderers. They should not also have to fight against murderers from around the world that are dumped here because of our porous border. And when you think about all the different justifications for the wall, rising wages for the American worker, safer streets so that you don't have the drugs, I think what motivates our president the most is the safety and security of the American people. Remember, Jason, he's met with the families of individuals who've lost loved ones at the hands of criminal illegal aliens who were violent. And I think it's that resolve that he has, that commitment to the families who've lost loved ones, that really motivates the president to be so resolute during this period of time. And I'm confident that our president's going to get a good deal here, because we simply cannot put illegal aliens over the interests of American people. I mean, it sounds so obvious to say, but you look at who everyone's fighting for. The president is fighting for safer streets, better jobs, and higher wages. And apparently the Democrats are fighting for a porous border that becomes easier for criminal illegal aliens. Really,
well, that's what's amazing. Democrats have walked away from the table. They're more interested in making sure that Nancy Pelosi gets the gavel and becomes the speaker. And they can't define when they say they wanted border security. And when it wasn't Donald Trump, they went ahead and voted to authorize the wall, but now they won't want to fund it. And so the discussion continues. I wish I had more time for all three of you, but we don't on this night. There's a lot of news happening. So Tammy, General Bondi, and Congressman Gaetz, we thank you. Thank you for your service to this country and joining us here tonight.